How's it going, everyone? Welcome to a new review on the channel. Today's spotlight is on the 2014 Audi RS7. I posted a video several weeks ago about my first impressions of the RS7, and these were really more like a personal notes and stuff, but today is really more in-depth and a sort of buyer's guide if you're on the market for an Audi RS7. So let's dive right in. All right, let's address the beautiful silhouette of this car. It is a Sportback, meaning that this section back here is like a hatchback, which gives you an insane amount of practicality, cargo, and storage. So the RS7 has a honeycomb grille in the front that you noticed. Super nice, super aggressive, very wide stance. It gives the RS7 such a dominant and aggressive look. And then when you move back towards the car, this is where you notice the dual oval exhaust, a typical signature of RS vehicles. The S7 will have the quad pipes and the A7 will have the sort of trapezoid exhaust systems. So it's really that distinguishing factor that really shows you have something special. But it's not just that. People think that that's about it, right, where the similarities end, but it's not. This car actually has flared wheel arches. So the wheelbase and where the wheels are located isn't very different, but to accommodate the wider tires, because these tires are pretty wide, they flared the wheel arches. So if you were to take the panels, let's say from an S7, and try to put them on an RS7, the fenders in the front, even in the rear quarter panel, they just will not fit. It is not the same stance. That's why from the rear, when you look at the car, it looks significantly wider than you would see in an S7 or an A7 for that matter. And of course, one more dead giveaway is the gigantic, massive RS7 brakes, which I will absolutely get into that in a little bit because that is quite interesting. And of course, the biggest factor is the engine that's under the hood. So you see, an RS7 isn't just slapped on with a bunch of honeycomb grills, badges, and call it a day. It is a significantly different car. It is wider, it is lower, it is louder. And speaking about it being loud, here's a little sound clip of how the exhaust sounds on this car. So I think we've established that V8 sounds incredible, and long and behold, here it is. Seriously, it's just a beauty to look at. I gotta be frank, they did a hell of a good job with the presentation of this engine. Alright, now bear with me, we're about to get a little geeky and technical here, because I think it's important. So what really differentiates the engine between an S7 and an RS7? Several factors actually, it's not just one thing. Obviously it has bigger turbos to give you more boost, and that's not where it ends. In order to achieve more boost, they lower the compression ratio of the car versus the S7. So Audi reinforced the internals, they replaced the main bearings with beefier main bearings. The camshaft profile is a little bit more aggressive, and in order to keep everything nice and cool for when you're doing Nürburgring track days, they added bigger intercoolers for more efficient cooling. And this is how they were able to squeeze another 130 horsepower from this engine. Of course, a lot of people on their S7s are just going to bolt on RS7 turbos and call it a day, but this is what really differentiates stock RS7s versus S7s. It's not just the turbos. It really sings, it's raw, it's visceral, but all this comes at a cost because of serviceability. And don't let any of that scare you away, because this thing is a monster. I love it. This is the most fun car I've ever owned, and I have a lot of them, if you guys know. This thing annihilates 80% of the cars on the road. It's a rocket ship for its size. There's a reason why they nicknamed this the Lambo Killer back in 2014. So let's hop on inside. Let's talk a little bit about the technology that's equipped in this car, the way the build quality is. Don't get me wrong, it's 2014, it's 11 years old. It's a little dated, but let's actually talk about that. Let's go. So we are in the 2014 Audi RS7. Look, there's not much to say. This is an 11-year-old vehicle. But I always talk about Audi's minimalistic and simplistic design, and this is what really makes it age gracefully, and this car is no exception. I think for its year, it's aged really nicely, but it's really the little attention to details that are super nice in this car. We'll start off right off the bat with the seats. I absolutely love those RS sport seats. Quilted stitching, contrasting with white, the RS7 logo just embroidered in there. I've been a fan, and surprisingly enough, they're quite comfortable. You don't have ventilation or massage feature, you do get them heated. That's the way this car should be equipped, with the RS sport seats. This car is optioned with the Alcantara roofliner. It gives it such a nice premium look. I really think if you get the opportunity to find one, have it equipped with the Alcantara roof. And another thing I absolutely wish this car was equipped with, it is the Bang & Olufsen sound system. It was a very expensive option back then, so it's hard to find cars that have that equipped. The original standard sound system is nothing mundane. It's still a Bose sound system, quite a bit of wattage. It sounds pretty good, but the Bang & Olufsen is absolutely night and day. It is one of the best sounding sound systems in any vehicle. So if you notice the way the dash is, it's very clean. I said earlier it's minimalistic. I kind of dig how the infotainment screen kind of just pops out. The resolution and the quality, again, is super dated. Excuse the beeps. There's a lot of beeps in this car when the door is open, so let me turn that off. And of course, this car does not come with Apple CarPlay or Android Auto. The facelifted models do come with it, so it was, I'm not sure if it was an option or if it was standard, but you had them with it. Me, in my case, Apple CarPlay was absolutely a must, and luckily the aftermarket world exists. So I installed a module, and I now have wireless Apple CarPlay. But what about the back seats? Let's take a look. Alright, I'm gonna be 100% honest with you. This is the first time I sit back here. I've actually never sat back here. So that's pretty funny, actually. It's a little weird because you really feel very upright compared to the people in the front. But it's cool because I still have a quite bit of headspace. I'm 5'9", but I think if you're over 6 foot, you're pretty much screwed. But they kind of made an indentation into the roof here to accommodate for your head. And let's just say if you're on the Nürburgring and you do a jump, yeah, you're going to hit your head. So maybe not the best place to be long term, but overall, if you want to give somebody a lift or something like this, it's not bad. You have dual climate controls back here as well, so it kind of makes it into a 4-zone climate control in this car, which is very interesting. Wow, okay, so this car has heated rear seats. I didn't know that. I actually did not know that. That is pretty cool. I thought that was an option. So yes, this car has heated rear seats, guys. Nice. First time I'm back here. Probably will be the last time. So that's about it. Kind of about the in-depth, really, review of the car. One thing that I really, again, love is the bezel-less windows. Frameless windows, that's kind of cool. So, yeah, like I said, that's about it. I say, let's take it for a spin. And let's tell you guys what the driving experience is like in an RS7. Come on, let's go. All right, and we are off on our test drive for the 2014 Audi RS7. So one very important thing I want to mention, I got a check engine light earlier today. And of course, I quickly scanned it just to tell me that I'm running a little bit rich. It's just when I bought the car, the spark plugs were due. So they've been ordered. I've already taken my appointment at the shop to have them changed. It's all coming in the next week or two. So when I stumbled on this RS7, I was genuinely worried that it was going to be too much of an aggressive vehicle. It was going to be too stiff for daily driving. And to my surprise, it really exceeded my expectations in terms of comfort and luxury. This genuinely feels like a big, luxurious, comfortable executive saloon car. But the difference is when you put your foot down, it's no longer it's no longer a German executive saloon car. It is a flat-out bonkers sports car. Now, mind you, as I mentioned, I do not have the air suspension. I have the optional dynamic ride control. So essentially, it's just a strut with a spring that has hydraulic lines going into it. And what that does is just really prevent body roll. When you brake, it prevents the car from sinking in. So it's a very good and sophisticated system. Much more reliable than the air suspension, but you get a compromise in ride quality. And the comfort mode is pretty decent, but the moment you put the car in dynamic mode, it's unbearable. Right now, I'm on a very plush highway. I mean, we have a little bit of imperfections, but overall, the highway is in great shape. But let's put it in dynamic, and we're going to see right away how it changes the behavior of the vehicle. All right,
So I just switched into dynamic mode, and right away you feel the car is extra bouncy. And the thing is that I'm hoping if you put it in dynamic mode, you're gonna get better steering feel. Not exactly. You still get that kind of numbness that these Audis from these years are renowned for. So the steering wheel will always have that sort of numbness where you won't really be able to feel what's happening with the road. Like, don't get me wrong, the car responds, the car moves, wherever you put it, it goes, but you get that numbness, something that, like, for example, BMWs don't have. All right, another little quick thing I want to glance over in regards to the RS7, it's technology. It's not terrible for an 11-year-old vehicle. So let's talk about the cameras. You have a rear camera, which is expected for this type of vehicle. But what's really cool is it kind of has a wide lens, so you can also see from the sides, a little bit like your cross traffic sort of camera, which is a nice little touch. There's a camera in the front as well. You have your blind spot monitoring that also comes standard. This car is also equipped from the factory with radar guided cruise control. So again, as far as technology goes, for 2014, it's not bad. But you know, every of the things that I pretty much set up to now really applies to the A7 and S7 as well. So the question is, why? Why pay the premium to get an RS7 when you can roughly exploit the S7 in the exact same way, and the S7 is cheaper? The A7 with that V6 3-liter is a great engine, but really, the reason why you get an RS7 is, well, because of this. This keeps pulling, man. And now brake test. Like, these brakes are insane. I was going quite fast, and I probably applied 40% of the brakes, and it's just stopped like no tomorrow, especially considering the weight of this car. So you're wondering why these brakes cost $7,000? That's why. And so we are on our test road. Can I say that? Because this is the little road where I usually tend to test out most of the cars I review. So I say, let's test this RS7. We're not gonna push it too much because I need spark plugs. I also need to change that drive shaft center support. But let's keep it in manual mode. We are in dynamic, and yeah, let's do this. It's the torque. I love how instantaneous the torque is, considering that it's a twin turbocharged car. But the best part about it is because it's in a hot V position, there's practically no turbo lag, right? And that exhaust just sounds so good for the stock exhaust. Seriously. Oof. The pops and bangs are just so intoxicating. And like, the car is really stable. I don't like the numbness of the steering. I really don't. But all things considered, for the size of this car, it's really unique. It's you would not expect such a gigantic car to handle and move the way it does. I can only imagine once I get my spark plugs replaced, because don't forget, guys, I'm misfiring right now. Everything really plays in tandem well together. You want to drive the living crap out of this car, you can, and it's fast. So I'm not gonna lie, this is the fastest car I've driven so far. And for the price that these cars go in the used market, it's a no-brainer. You can really find a clean example with relatively low mileage between $35,000 and $45,000 Canadian. So this is my take on the RS7. I've had it for about 2 months now. I love it. I absolutely love this car. And I really hope you guys enjoyed the video. Don't forget to like. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. We have many more reviews coming with some really, really cool cars. You know, my channel, I like to be different and I like to be out there with like all sorts of different cars. So I really hope this RS7 fit the profile. So this is Jordan signing out. I'll see you guys very soon. And once again, thanks for tuning in. Bye-bye.